The world's fastest roller coaster closed at Ferrari World in Abu Dhabi on January 22nd and to this day is still closed.
If you guys don't already know this, we went to the United Arab Emirates back in February and
it was not open.
It was not open.
We didn't write it. It sucked.
So it closed shortly before our visit. Like I said, we visited in February, it closed in January. So in our minds, okay, this is like a short little hiccup. Right? Yeah. And it'll open when we get there. And it did not.
No. We're now in June, and it still hasn't reopened. So that sparks the question, what the heck happened?
I don't know. Now, the thing we do know is that whatever did happen didn't cause any harm to anybody. Because if that had happened, we would have found out about it.
Yes, yeah. So everyone is safe that we know of. But the ride still sits standing but not operating. So if you go to Six Flags Great Adventure right now, you can ride King to Ka, the world's tallest and fastest operating roller coaster.
Yeah, I feel like Six Flags should have fun with that right
now.
Yeah,
they should put up a banner don't spend a ton of money on it, but just like a temporary one. So when it does reopen, you can take it back down.
This year only. Come on, come on. No, literally, they should. But so when we went there and we found out we weren't going to get to ride it and it was very sad, in our minds we're like, okay, well, if it opens up right after we leave, we're going to feel really sad.
Yeah.
We're going to feel like, wow, if we had just done this a week or two later, it would have been fine.
There was a moment where we considered postponing that trip.
But I'm really glad we did it.
Yeah, we weren't even close.
No.
So I feel like, with this being an Intamin hydraulic launch coaster, the world's fastest going up to 149 miles per hour. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot of moving parts here. I mean, those familiar with Top Thrill Dragster know how much of a headache that ride was. That thing was going down all the time because of the launch.
They did something. I can't remember what they did, but they did something.
They did something to it.
To deal with that.
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Is there any chance at all that could happen?
It's getting zamped.
With Formula Rossa.
It's out there getting zamped as we speak.
That is awful. Let's never use
that
RMC,
term again. Like zamped. It's
no, we're gonna forget that you said that.
No, we're not.
Because on one hand, this could just be a long-term breakdown. At first we thought that they just moved up their maintenance schedule.
Long-term breakdown. That's my entire life.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway. In Formula Rossa's case, we're dealing with a hydraulic launch system and
and those never have problems.
Very long cable that is very specifically designed for this ride. So let's say that a cable snapped, you have to remanufacture it specifically for Formula Rossa. It's not like there's just a spool of a bunch of them just lying around that you can just, we'll just go order a new one.
Hours.
Oh yeah, because everyone just has cable lying around.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna try to stop now. So yeah, clearly whatever they're doing to fix this ride is a long-term thing. I mean, it's been almost 6 months now. That's not a small amount of time to be working on a coaster.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think back to when Top Thrill Dragster first opened, back in its opening year, I remember that ride was closed for an extended period of time. It didn't operate most of its first season, but the difference is Formula Rossa has been open for a long time. So it's not like this is something that they're not used to. I'm sure their maintenance department is very well adjusted to dealing with this attraction. But I'm almost certain that whatever happened was unexpected because Ferrari World is a year-round park, so they have to do their annual maintenance spread out at random times throughout the year.
It was scheduled for April.
I think it was scheduled for April for maybe a month or something like that. Yeah. So this obviously happened towards the end of January when they weren't originally expecting that. Maybe they're actively working on fixing it. It could open any day now. I mean, there's very little information out there about this. There's no statement, there is no nothing that the park has said about what is going on.
Well, I think also, how do we find out about a lot of these changes that are happening or new rides or anything? It's enthusiasts. They are detectives. They are figuring things out. They are going to their home parks and documenting things. But here's the thing. If you are going to Dubai, you will figure out quickly there are not a lot of roller coaster enthusiasts there. Yep. And if there are, they're not really heavily involved in the international community of gossiping about what's going on with rides. If someone saw it, then who was an enthusiast that would share it online, then we'd have an idea. But I don't know that we're going to get updates like that unless someone from the community goes there.
Yeah. And then even then, are you going to be able to actually see any work going on for this attraction, if any at all? If you're working at the station level, you're not going to be able to get access to that at all. You can't see it until you're actually there. So let's talk about what ifs here. Let's have a little fun with this. So
they're getting a spike.
No, they're not getting a spike.
They're getting a spike by his name.
No, but there is something significant that is going to be happening soon nearby. Falcon's Flight will be the world's fastest roller coaster, beating out Formula Rossa by I think like 7-ish miles per hour. It's 156. When that opens at Six Flags Qiddiya outside of Riyadh next year, the year after, something like that. Formula Rossa, the whole reason why this ride is famous is because of that record. Ferrari World is very proud of that record. They put that up everywhere. Is there any scenario?
All right, wait, hold on. Are you about to suggest they're speeding it up?
Is that a possibility
How
here?
petty. I aspire to that level of petty, to be like, oh, you want to do this? Okay, we're going to make it 8 miles per hour faster.
I mean, think about it this way. If there was a long-term breakdown where they realized that, all right, we have to spend a lot of money to get this thing fixed, that they're not like, oh, is there any way we can do like an adjustment to this? Like, I mean, think about it. Okay, after it hits the launch, it goes into a set of trim brakes. So speeding it up an extra 8 miles per hour just means you need stronger trims, right? I mean, you probably wouldn't need to reprofile the big hill, and if you did, maybe it wouldn't be that much. Maybe it'd just be enough that it would be worth the money to keep that record. I don't know. I mean, this is, again, we're dealing with what ifs here, but I don't think it's something we can completely rule out.
So, I think that's a fun thought, but the reality is that the park over in Qiddiya could easily just be like, oh, you made it this fast, now we're gonna make it this fast.
Maybe that's why they're not saying anything. They're like, we gotta do this, like, have it fly under the radar.
Okay, but what are they gonna wait until Falcon's Flight opens to reopen the ride? No. The defining thing about Formula Rossa is the speed, right? The layout afterward is not that exciting. However, Falcon's Flight is gonna have all of it. It's gonna have the speed and a fantastic looking layout.
Which it gives Ferrari World even more of an incentive to try and hold on to that record.
However, one thing that they did say when we were out there was when this does happen, they can then go with we are the fastest accelerating
Because
coaster.
it's one specific launch where you start out at 0 versus with Falcon's Flight, you are already going pretty fast by the time you hit 156.
Exactly.
That's a decent point.
Yeah, so they can still say we're like the fastest launch coaster.
Yeah.
So in theory, there's still a record to have there, but
now we got to address probably the other thing that people are thinking about is there, I mean, we joked about it, but is there any chance that they're going to throw LSMs on this? Like, because parks are straying away from hydraulic launch coasters. Places don't really build them anymore for a reason. Like, I mean,
can an LSM go that fast though?
I mean, I don't think so.
I mean, that's why they did a swing launch on Dragster, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't get it up to that speed in one go ahead. Like, you just can't. I doubt they're gonna do. I mean, the only other way to get maybe up to that speed would be if they did like S&S and did like a compressed air launch. But even that, I don't know that could get that fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation. The only other scenario I could see if they decide to go that route is just have it reach a lower speed and then you don't have the trims at all. I mean, you would completely say goodbye to the record, which would suck, but if this is becoming a very legitimate problem where they have to figure out like, hey, what do we do about this?
I guess another possibility, which I really don't think is going to happen, I cannot stress that enough, but in theory, this could be it for Formula Rossa.
I mean, it's happened before. I think about like Ring Racer. I mean, that had like a pretty serious blowout or whatever, and they're like, well, we're not going to spend the money to reopen this thing, and so that was kind of it. Top Thrill Dragster had an accident, that didn't open after that. So, I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think that's the case. But man, I mean, that would suck. That'd be a huge blow to that park.
Well,
to lose that ride.
I think when you have a world record holder, you kind of have like an extra
obligation.
Incentive and like an obligation to keep it going. And I mean, I know it's not going to be the record holder for much longer, but I doubt that park would opt to just let it die or to do anything so drastic to it that it would change the dynamic of the ride being about speed.
Yeah. Well, anyways, just some food for thought, bringing attention to a closure that has kind of flown under the radar for the past several months, but is definitely like a major concern. I mean, a lot of people travel from all around the world to go ride this thing. So
yeah, who does that?
No, absolutely. So, I don't know. Hopefully it reopens sooner than later. We're currently in the period of time that is actually the slow season out there because it's so hot. So, if anything, that might be even more of an incentive for them to be like, we'll wait till it like picks back up crowd-wise, towards the fall or something.
But for all we know, it could be ready to go, and they're just not even bothered.
It could be. Again, no one would know. Let us know down in the comments below what you think of this closure. If you think that something could be happening with it, or not.
Or if you have any insider info, aka you live in that area and you're seeing what's going on. let us know.
Let us know. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time.